Hey everybody, here's a video about how I added low-level outputs to my older car stereo AM/FM cassette head unit. I wanted to be able to use this 1980s era unit with any power amplifier that had low-level inputs. Now the reason I wanted to do this is because I'd get better sound quality, and I'd also have the ability to take advantage of the gain control on the power amps. You'll notice that there are quite a few drilled unused holes on the circuit board. The factory drilled these holes for additional circuits for features that this unit didn't have. Things like separate bass, mid-range, and treble controls, auto reverse, or possibly a built-in 5-band equalizer. I used these holes to make my connections on the circuit board rather than make bulky solder connections at the volume control itself. You can solder the audio cables directly to the volume control if you don't have any unused holes on your circuit board. If you do make the connections to your circuit board, then make sure that the holes that you use are not connected to any other circuits on the board. To probe the circuits, I used test leads connected to the inputs of an old home stereo amplifier with the volume turned down low. When you're probing, until you find the terminal where the volume can be turned down, all volume will be at maximum, and that's the reason why you don't want to use a car power amplifier to do this. The nice thing about this modification is that it can be done to almost any older car stereo or even a factory car radio that has a volume control knob. Most units with push button volume already have low level outputs, so they don't have to have this modification done to them. I was able to do the modification for the cost of a pair of shielded audio cables with female RCA style connectors. Now these are the ones that are available at almost any dollar store. And I just cut off the female ends and left about 12 inches of cable attached to them to make the internal connections. The only other costs were the heat shrink tubing and some solder, and I was able to salvage the plastic wire sheathing from some old junk electronics. This cassette player is one of the most reliable ones that I've ever had. Back when I used to drive my truck every day, I had this tape player in there for 7 years. This player never ate a tape in the whole 7 years that I had it in my truck. Now that my truck is a project, I'm putting this head unit back in the truck, only this time it's going to be hooked up to a power amp, whereas before it was only hooked up to speakers. And the power amp that I'm using is one of the very first power amps that were ever on the market. They came along around 1978, 1979. So this system is really going to be old school. The speakers that I'm going to be using right now are old school as well. They're from around 1986, but they're still in very good condition. I won't be using these speakers though. I'm going to be using some 4x6 Pioneer coaxials that are going to be mounted at ear level. And that's why this power amplifier is going to have more than enough power for what I'm using it for. I'd love to crank it up and let you listen to it, but because of the copyright infringement rules, I can't do that. Well, there you go. That's how I added low-level audio outputs to my old-school AM/FM in-dash cassette head unit. If you found this video entertaining, interesting, or helpful in some way, please don't forget to like it, and you can comment in the section below. Thanks for watching.